What is the ease of doing business currently in Nigeria? Businesses are folding. Companies are leaving Nigeria. So the issue is not about how many people remain on the streets. The issue is that has the problems been solved? And it is unfortunate that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who addressed the nation, could not address any of the things that these people have been on the streets protesting for. Not one was addressed. Not one. The hunger persists, the inflation persists, the economic difficulty persists, and a lot more. In fact, individual businesses, which is the private sector, which is supposed to be running our economy, has been crippled. How much do you buy diesel or fuel in order to, solve the problems of your businesses around? So I think that we should be asking the government the right questions and not the citizens. If they cannot answer to our demands, then I'm afraid that this protest will continue. Protest is simply airing your grievances, and like he has rightly mentioned, it is enshrined in all records, all laws, both international laws and treaties that Nigeria is a signatory to.
And just to top on that, people protest every day. You go to get fuel, and they're telling you that the price is 1,300. And you say, why is it 1,300? You go to buy tomatoes, and they're telling you that just a tiny plate of tomatoes is 4,000 naira. And you're asking, why is it 4,000 naira? People protest every day. So in as much as the government is trying all their possible best to be very brutal with peaceful protesters, when they can carry that brutality to end insecurity, when they can use that same brutality to go and end banditry and end kidnapping, or bringing it to peaceful protesters, no matter what they try to do, no matter how they try to ensure that people's morals and people's belief and courage is actually trampled on, it will not. Because people will still protest every day. People will protest the price of fuel. People will protest the price of our normal standard of living. People will protest the price of food items. Everything is inflated, and all the citizens of the country are asking for is sort it out, fix it. And rather than fix it, you start to throw tear gas, shooting live bullets at peaceful protesters. Where is that done anywhere in the world?
Insane.
Where is that done? Because there is nowhere in the world that even if you want to even put people in a courtroom, they'll tell you that your sin or your crime is actually punishable by death. There's no crime in peaceful protest, and there's nowhere in the world that they'll tell you that if having a peaceful protest, you have to be punished by death. This was the Nigerian flag that was used in peaceful protest, and it was hit thousands of times with tear gas. And these people don't even respect the flag. They don't respect the Nigerian citizens, and the Nigerian citizens are coming out to ask now, these are our demands. All we want you to do is end hunger. Like everything is actually going down in the country, all because of a very, very wrong statement that was made. How is it so difficult for you to fix it? And rather than fixing it, you want to start picking up peaceful protesters, or you want to start ensuring that people feel inconsequential in a country of their own. That is very wrong. The peaceful protesters are not going to stop protesting. Every day of our lives we protest. We will continue to protest the prices of food items. We'll continue to protest the standard of living in Nigeria until it is fixed. Our demands are clear. Fix it.
Okay, please, I would like to add another question. Please, questions. First, you demand that all protesters that were held by the police should be released. I want to know specific terms, like in your group, how many of your members have been arrested and how many have been released? And also, the president's broadcast, he made mention of several things he has done. So I want to ask this in this aspect. Don't you think it is enough time that we should just give the government little time to, for some of those programs they say they put in place to materialize?
Which of the programs? There's no program he has put in place. He talked about cultivating 500 hectares of land. Where have they started the cultivation? No, none that he has done that have been put on drive. Where's the electoral reforms that is needed to usher in a proper democratic government in Nigeria? Where's that? Is there any committee? Is there anything going on in the National Assembly that point to that? So there are issues. The issues are on this. My brother at the extreme end, Mark has said, there's a demand. The government is seeing it as confrontation. That's the problem. They are not behaving as if they're in a democracy. There's a demand. And this demand is clearly stated here. He talked about the electoral reform. He talked about securing our farmland. What is the security architecture the government has even put in the public to tell us that going forward, that our farmlands will be secured? These are the demands. I'm asking, what has he said? rhetoric and trying to make promises on paper is something anybody can do. Everybody can do it. You can read anything. But ask the president, has this thing been done? Are Nigerians feeling what is going on? He talked about sending 500 and something billion to state. The state have said it's COVID-19 relief money. And why there must be system. We talked about cost of governance, reducing cost of governance. There's no government since 1999 that have expanded governance like the President Tinubu administration. None. 48 or so ministers. He created a new ministry, Ministry of Livestock, expanding parastatals and MDAs, and putting more pressure on the already pressured economy. So these are the issues we're asking. As I'm talking to you, our money is not, the safers of the Togo is higher. So you can't even go there and say you want to buy goods and sell, because you will not gain. So we have to sit down and rejig our economic system, our security system, and our electoral reform system. The young people must participate. There's a young man that's very brilliant. A lot of them are here. You put them in, let them participate in reforming the process that will determine their future. Let them have a say in what will become something that either make them progress or make them retrogress. So these are simple questions. There's no war here. There's no fight. The simple question Nigerian protesters from Bauchi to Kano, from Kano to Yobe, from Kaduna to Abuja to Lagos to Ibadan and Port Harcourt are asking is that do right by our people. Do the right things that will put food on the table. Do the right things that will make sure that hunger day people know where they shout them again.
So let me answer the question on the protest.
About the people who have been detained and across Nigeria, please, I would like to emphasize that a lot of people have come under different banners to air their views, but it is one thing that we are asking for, which is to end bad governance. Now, a lot of them have been arrested, a lot of them are still under detention. Several individuals, several lawyers have decided to give pro bono services to ensure that these people are released. However, we know that this still falls within the power of the federal government. A simple order, Mr. President is the Commander-in-Chief of all armed forces in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have the list of our people that have been arrested, but these are not all. In fact, there are people that we don't even know. Those who were picked up just by passing on the road, even journalists like yourselves that have been picked up, and several individuals across the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This list come up every day because these arrests are made every day. And that is why one of our demands is not to only release the people who were arrested during the NSAS protest, but also those who are still arrested during this protest and still being arrested even as the protest continues or as we speak. So what we are calling on them is that we must not provide any list. While the list is compiled, every day lists are released. He mentioned some names. Let them stop arresting peaceful protesters. And I'd like to state this categorically. We realize that it is simply an RNG meeting with several security forces to keep on arresting people in the name of that they are bandits. Please, people who are protesting are not bandits. This protest was announced even over a month before it began. Yes. All we needed for the police to do, we have mapped out strategic locations where these protests are happening. If people are looting in other shops, go ahead and arrest them. Why are you arresting people who are on the street at strategic locations without any weapons, asking for good governance? So I am saying that the list will be published. A lot of people are still being arrested as we speak, and they should stop that arrest with immediate effect and release all those who are in detention. They know these people and they know in the places that they've been arrested.
He wants to speak. Let him say something.
What I want to say is this. The word end bad governance, is it a crime in Nigeria? I don't think it's a crime, because we are asking for a good governance in this country. So a country that will favor the rich, the poor, and the needy is not too much to ask for. Meanwhile, we are asking for good governance. We are being arrested, being killed all across the states. It doesn't make sense. I'm asking this question directly to the federal government. Is we Nigerians asking for a good governance, is it a crime for you to kill us, for you to arrest us? I don't think it's a crime. If it is a crime, then the federal government should let Nigerians know that we asking for good governance is a crime. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
we have come to the end of this press conference. What we're asking, stop arresting peaceful protesters, stop intimidating them, stop harassing them, and use the force, the force you have, use it for good. Save our land from kidnappers and banditry. Thank you very much for coming to cover this protest. And journalists, the intimidation of journalists must stop. You go to stations, they tell you not to say this, not to say that. It must stop. It must stop. If they have used journalism to promote their own affairs, they should allow other Nigerians to have the same access to same opportunity. It must stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want to recognize the efforts of the people who were at the protest and maybe were casualties of some sort or even had to be assaulted in the bid to fight for good governance in Nigeria. We have a lot of people gathered in there talking about their lists and demands of what they want from the government. At the same time, we also have a lot of police vehicles patrolling outside. If you walk towards the top of the street, you will see about 3 vehicles of the Nigerian police. If you walk towards the other end of the street, you see another 2 vehicles stationed on opposite sides of the street of where this event is happening in Ikeja here in Lagos State, Nigeria. We'll continue to follow suit with what is going on inside, but we also hear that there will be a procession walk, candlelight walk for the people whose lives have been lost in the course of looking for good governance in Nigeria. Stay tuned to News Central and we'll continue to give you bit by bit as this event unfolds.
All right, Bettina, if you can hear me, I'd like you to give us a sense of what the atmosphere looks like over there. I can say that's more like a press conference. I also talked about the Candlelight Procession, which of course will be going on later on after that conference. So tell us, what's the mood like and what exactly are they saying? Because earlier we monitored Abuja, a particular press conference in Abuja, where they are saying that they've heard a lot of people talk about, you shouldn't be asking us how many protesters are still out there.
And the recklessness of security authorities who ought to provide safety for us. None of us should have to face that kind of consequence. And that is why we said that the people who came out with us and are no longer here, we must continue to honor their memory. And on this basis, please, I'd like us to get up and have a 1-minute silence for all our people who are no longer with us. We stand in solidarity with all our fallen comrades and we will continue to push the flag even though they are no longer here. Please, let's sit. Thank you. Temper. Kulu Kulu. Yes, thank you, comrades. But on a more cheerful note, I want us to acknowledge some of the unsung heroes of this protest too. And it is our media friends and journalists who have stood on the ground every day with us. They have given us the courage to come out from day one, and we are nearing day 10. Because of them, we march to the ground without fear, because we know that there are people who are going to expose whatever happens on ground for the world to see. They are never afraid, even at the risk of their lives, at the risk of their equipment. They are always on ground. Please, can we give them Tiri Boza? Boza! 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 Is that enough for them? Boza! 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 Yes. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Yes, thank you. Please, can we sit down? Yes, thank you, everyone. So at this point, some of our speakers are still on the way today, but we are going to have the people on ground to come over to this place and give us some solidarity messages and speeches as regards the theme of this gathering, which is End Bad Governance, 10 Days of Rage. What next after 10 Days of Rage? To lead this discussion, I'll be calling on Comrade Festus Ogun. He's a human rights lawyer and one of the legal practitioners who have also given us energy to power on ground by offering his services to everybody intimidated, anybody arrested, detained. Please, can we give him the usual round of applause?
Greatest Nigeria people. Today we are making a very sober reflection on the journey so far. We started this struggle on the 1st of August 2024, and today is the 9th day. Some people may ask, is this struggle a success? And I've said it from the first day that the struggle has achieved its purpose. On the first day, to start with, the authorities were running helter-skelter, running all about because of placard-carrying protesters. They deployed all the security forces that they couldn't deploy to Sambisa Forest. They deployed all the security apparatus in the country that they couldn't use to combat unknown gunmen. They deployed all the resources that they could not use to combat kidnapping and insecurity in the country. They didn't stop at that. They now went ahead to obtain a court order to restrain unknown persons so that we will not protest. They didn't stop at that. In that same court order, they went to restrict us to a particular location where they can ambush us. On the first day, our people resisted them. They asked us to converge at Freedom Park at Ojota. We started at Ikeja. That is a success on its own. Please, let's give ourselves a round of applause. The fact that our people can even resist them from the first day, and we did that successfully by marching from Ikeja under bridge down to Ojota, shows that the struggle was a success on its own. Now look at it. It appears to me now that the Nigerian authorities are very jittery. When we speak on social media, they no longer take us seriously as they used to. The only language that the Nigerian state understands is protest. And because they are allergic to any form of criticism, they do not want us to protest. But we have already done that, and that makes the struggle a success already. But the question is this. Now that we've courageously expressed the satisfaction against bad governance in the country, would that readily put an end to bad governance? That is the question I've been asking myself. For me, I believe that one message that this struggle has sent clearly to the authorities is that our people are now awake. Yes, we have been docile for some time, we've been quiet for some time, but it is now at the back of their mind that the people of Nigeria are now awake. They now know that there is consequence for bad governance. And our people, in truth, will not wait until we begin to count cadaver on the streets. We begin to see dead body on the streets because of hunger, because of bad governance, before we rise up. They are now aware that the power truly resides in our people. Before now, we have to be sincere with ourselves. The masses of this country who have the largest population have been docile for too long. We are docile while those who drag themselves into power have been having their way all the while. But they know that the dynamics, it has completely changed from docility to now being clearly vigilant. And for me, this is just the beginning of the struggle. We have just started. It is either we choose democracy or we choose democracy. You cannot sit somewhere in Aso Rock and you would do nothing other than impoverish our people. We, the people, we are the government. And given that they've taken us for granted for too long, this struggle alone is a satisfaction that that narrative of taking our people for granted for too long will no longer be tolerated. But I believe the struggle has just started. We have just started. All we need to do at this stage is to continue to organize ourselves. The ruling elites, the ruling class are well organized. But amongst us, the masses, they throw ethnicity, they bring issue of religion, and they continue to weaponize poverty. For we, the working class, for we, the masses, we must organize for we to defeat them. We are going to defeat them. It's just a matter of time. But we must organize ourselves. While we were planning for the protest, they were holding meetings upon meetings. Emergency meeting. When there was hunger in the country, there was no emergency meeting. Insecurity, there was no emergency meeting. Inflation, there was no emergency meeting. Unemployment, there was no emergency meeting. But when the people rose to say, look, we are putting an end to bad governance, they were running helter-skelter. That signifies that the authorities, as powerful as they appear, they know that the power that resides in the people is greater than the people in power. I want us to organize ourselves. I think that is the only message I have. That at this time, we must not be caught on guard any longer. We cannot afford that again. That thugs will come and invade us, that they go overnight to get court orders. We should not allow that to happen again. And that largely happened because of this narrative that there are no leaders. We must be courageous enough to organize ourselves at this time. We have just one purpose. We want to put an end to bad governance. If we do not organize ourselves, maybe we are concerned about the appellation of leadership. But we need people that will organize us properly. What we have now can be built upon. We have the ample opportunity to build upon it. And let me tell you the truth. Because we all know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not only incompetent, he is equally clueless. There will be more reason for us to see hit the streets. Because he is even leading the government without any direction. So what we need to do now is to continue to mobilize ourselves. We need to organize ourselves. If we are properly organized, to be very sincere with ourselves, no thug can invade us if we are properly organized. There is no thug. What is their number? Those thugs, what is their number? I do not think we should give in for this intimidation. I do not want us to be distracted by issue of ethnics, religion, whether you bring out your Oru or otherwise, we will still march. When they saw the power in our movement, the Oros couldn't come out. Because the Oro barely eats even in a day. So, because the Oro understands that when the revolution starts, even the Oro will be unable to wait. Now, what I want us to do, which is my primary message, is for us to organize ourselves for the struggle ahead. It is a long walk to freedom because the ruling elites are well organized. We must continue to organize ourselves. We must continue to conscientize our people. Some people are just indifferent. When I was coming to the protest on the 1st of August, the person I was with told me, Festus, you are not hungry. Why are you going to protest? A journalist met me at the protest ground. He said, Barrister, what are you doing here? Because I'm a lawyer. He believes I'm not affected by it. But on a daily basis, people come, you give them bill of charges. They say, lawyer, I can't afford it. Because the economy is bad. I'm not immune to the terrible governance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that is why we need to conscientize our people, especially those ones that are indifferent, that are keeping aloof. We have that duty. On a final note, I want to talk on the issue of court order. I was telling Comrade Soweto, and I've always spoken to Francis and some other people, that this is the most dangerous trajectory in our democratic history. If we do not fight that court order, we are finished. If we are not courageous enough to fight those court orders that were obtained to restrict protesters from exercising their fundamental rights, we are all a risk. Because protest is the only thing that we have left now. That right to freedom of expression, to freedom of movement, and freedom of association is the only thing that we have left. That is our only hope. Now, they are taking it away from us. They are attempting to take it away from us through the judiciary. But they've forgotten that human rights is our what? Property. Is our what? Property. So we need to fight those court orders because it has set a very dangerous precedent. For me, I've said it, that I have a right to protest, guaranteed under Section 39, 40, and 41 of the Constitution. Every citizen of Nigeria. In fact, the Constitution didn't even use the word citizen. It said any person. It didn't say citizen. It said any person. Even if you are not a citizen of Nigeria, you can protest in Nigeria. Let alone citizen of Nigeria. You have that right to protest. But despite the fact that you have the right to protest, clearly, state agents, the attorney generals, they went to the court to tell the court to stop you from protesting where you wish to protest. That court order is a violation of human rights, whether we like it or not. When injustice becomes a law, resistance becomes automatically a duty. I'm not saying court order are not to be obeyed, but who are unknown persons? My name is Festus Ogun, I'm not unknown. I know, is your name Soweto? They said Soweto should not protest. I only know about Hassan. I knew that, look, other people here were not listed as parties to the case. So they are not, I don't know, I am not an unknown person. I know Francis is not an unknown person. I know everyone here, we are not unknown, we are citizens of Nigeria. So they got a court order to restrict Nigerians from exercising their fundamental right. That is very dangerous because now that they've done it, any other time that Nigerians are saying they want to protest, they will quickly resort to go to court because there is a precedent, and that is why we must fight that court order to the Supreme Court if possible. That court order is too dangerous. I'm sounding a note of warning to all comrades here that we must make sure that we challenge that court order to the apex court. It is very important because it has already set a dangerous precedent. Immediately, the Attorney General of Lagos State obtained the court order. Next, we read in the news that the Attorney General of Ogun State has done the same. Before I knew what was happening, I saw that the FCT has obtained the same court order. Next thing I saw, Edo has obtained the court order to restrain people from protesting. It is too dangerous for our democracy. It is too dangerous for our liberty. The same way they are doing it for end bad governance. Tomorrow you will want to protest for something else that is even more personal to you. Someone will go to court to obtain a court order. I've never heard all my life that even during the military rule, military will not go to court to obtain a court order to restrain comrades from protesting. But in a supposed democracy, a constitutional democracy, we are having an experience where court orders are being obtained to restrain protesters. I think that we must challenge that court order moving forward so that we can clear the precedent. We must challenge that court order so that we can set the record straight that, look, you cannot restrain a protester to a particular place before such a protester can exercise his right to protest. If they are asking someone in Okokomaiko who says he is hungry and he wants to protest against hunger and bad governance, they say he must come to Ojota. Where will he get money to come to Ojota? Someone in Badagry to come to Ojota before you can exercise your right. So I think that we must whether set up a committee or have a team that will look at how to challenge that order of court. It is too dangerous for our democracy. It is a very dangerous precedent. I say, look, how? I kept asking myself the question, how will this kind of order even come? Who conceptualize it? But what APC government cannot do does not exist. This is why we must be eternally vigilant. They could, under the guise of that court order, they could arrest a lot of people. And because they know that we have a justice system that is painfully weak and not fashioned in a way that protects the Nigerian people, they know how they can take advantage of the system to victimize our people. This is why the second take-home, apart from us organizing, we must see how we will challenge that court order, because that court order is a violation of human rights. That court order is unconstitutional. Because if you look, I'm sorry, but I want us to get it clear. If you look at section 45 of the Constitution, it says that, look, these rights, they are not absolute. Nobody is doubting that. Even the right to life is not absolute. We are not contesting that. But you can only restrict that right through a law under section 45. And that law is not executive fiat. It's not one governor says you should not protest, or one traditional ruler, glorified civil servants are telling you you should not protest. We are saying a law enacted by the National Assembly or State House of Assembly. That constitution did not say that you can restrict a person's rights by a court order. Court order is not part of the restriction or derogation to a person's fundamental right. It's not there. And it also says that even if you have that law must be reasonably justifiable in a democratic society. If you have a law that even says you should not protest, is it reasonably justifiable in a democratic society? This is why we must challenge that court order. We have that duty. I hope we will not betray our generation. Thank you.
Freedom come by struggle, by struggle. Freedom cometh by struggle. Freedom comes by struggle. Freedom come. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you so much. Sorry, there's a story going around on Twitter that the police laid siege here. I don't think it is true. It's a false story. Yeah, please. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm debunking that. No police laid siege here. They were here, but they did not lay siege. Yes. So thank you so much, Comrade Festus Ogun. I think the key message from his lead-off is that we must choose if we want democracy or democracy. We must. Okay.
Please, around 5 o'clock this morning, police were all here. There were almost 300 with about their vehicle, or whatever. They were up to 30 or so. So later, when I called my boss in Abuja, after some time, they were not here again. Then later they came back. Later they went back again. So they were here even up till maybe around 8 or so.
Yes, thank you for that information. They were here indeed. But the thing going around on Twitter is that they are restricting people from coming inside. No, that's not true. They are not restricting people from coming inside. Yes, they cannot, please. Yes. So thank you. I think that was a good lead off. And one of the things that I also got from him is the fact that we must begin to organize, because the people at the top are organized, but they keep dividing us by parochial sentiments. I remember that at Ojota, I had to grant an interview, and then I started crying when they asked me my name, because I could not say my name for a minute. I could not say my name because I'm Igbo. And the popular narrative out there is that Igbos are not organizing for this protest. And if they are organizing for this protest, they are organizing to sabotage the Yorubas and the Bola Tinubu's government. So when the reporter asked me my name, I was shocked for a minute. I wanted to say my name, but I did not want to say my name, not because I was afraid, but because of the sentiment that had gone around. And in my head, I was thinking, I am a Nigerian. I shouldn't be so battered to the point that my name becomes foreign to my tongue, that I cannot say my name, because the land has been so divided with wicked sentiments that we do not recognize when our oppressors are pitting us against each other. So if there is something we are taking away from Comrade Festus Ogun's speech, it is that we have been clearly divided on all fronts. And it is time to unite against these people that oppress us. And when you look at the top, they are not divided. Whether by language, by ethnicity, by political party, they are always united when it comes to corruption and what must be done to keep the people below. They are united. And we're seeing that in Abuja, where the minister is from a different party and the president of this country is from a different party, but yet they are united in the affairs of how to, put people down or how to go about it. So yes, this is a takeaway, and I'm seeing an outcome of this symposium even as we sit down now. And one of that outcome is that we are going to challenge in the courts that kind of restrictive order that keeps citizens down from exercising their rights. Remember, the only thing many African countries know is how to copycat bad laws, copycat repressive actions. We also saw it with the internet. If you notice, the internet has been stable, for a few days now. But all the while we are outside since the beginning of this protest, it was really very, very bad. And we had the Minister of Technology tell us that it's because people were inside their house. that's why the internet, no, people were outside or something. That's why the internet was so bad, which was very ridiculous because people are always inside their house during weekends. The internet goes. People during COVID-19 were in their house. The internet was very fast. So why is it that protest time, the internet goes down slow? And we know this is not a new thing. We saw them also ban Twitter. So it is a trend. And this new trend of going to court ahead of people expressing themselves is a dangerous one. It means that any of us can be arrested if you decide to protest as a one man in front of your house. That's not the designated space. It could be picked up. So it's a worrying trend, and I see that it's an outcome that we must hold tight and say that that is one of the things that we must move forward with to challenge, even as we score more victories ahead. As we move forward, I want to call on Comrade Akinde to come over here, and Comrade Akinde, Comrade Akin Revolution, please join us at the table. Yeah, so to speak next to us, I'll pass the phone to Comrade Palacios. Greatest Nigerian people, articulate Nigerian people, ever conscious Nigerian people, greatest Nigerian people. I want to be sure all of us are here. Well, first and foremost, I would like to address the person that says, why are we not on uniform? And of course, in everything that happens to us, like he has said, there's also need for us to be drawing lessons. I was just on my way to my office. I saw police here. What's going on here? I got to the office. I prepared myself for the day. And I make a call to somebody. It was that call that made me to be here. And so when I was talking to that person mentioned that, oh, there is a program here today. And on my own part, my own commitment, I felt, no, if I'm in the office, I am wrong. And that's why I came here. I left all what I was doing, and I'm here. So please, for that black uniform, I was on black yesterday, I was on outside yesterday. So I just want to clear that here so that we understand ourselves that we need to work together every time. And each time, if we want to have a kind of little each, let's just explain, let's tell ourselves the truth, and let's move ahead. Because at this point in time, I need to salute our comrades, Nigerians. I need to tell us that we have done wonderfully well so far. The ruling party, they've tried, politicians have tried their best, to make sure that it didn't work. And at a point, I think for myself, I was really glad that, because when the thing started, it was like, no, it's not going to end. People are not going to talk. In any fora, people will just, no, it's just you feel like you are just on your own, talking on your own. You are the only one that, are you not feeling what is happening? But alas, at a point in time, we were able to come together to say this is what we want. We want to end bad governance. We want to end hunger. We want to do, we want to tell our leaders that, no, you are not doing things right and you need to do things right. Please, let's say three gosa to ourselves. Gosa. 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 And so, fine. We said that from day 1 to day 10, we're going to have this protest. And of course, when I came in, the first statement that catch me here was, what's next? Yesterday, we were at Alausa, and of course, as they have said, we mobilized women's movement to be at Alausa yesterday. And of course, you will ask me, why Alausa? In the first place, some of these women cannot even trek to Ojota in the first place. And what does that tell us? That even at times, this our government, they know what they are doing. They know that by placing all those areas, they know that they are going to set some people back. And over, we've been on Zoom, we've been discussing, some of us were part of the rally already, but some were even like, okay, let's come out, even as women. They are asking people, they are doing all sorts of, maybe if women come out too, then maybe government will understand.
But of course, when we were at Alausa yesterday, they were like, we were in the wrong place. But of course, we stood our ground and we were able to lend our voices into issues of Nigerian development issues in Nigeria. And why am I saying this? After that yesterday meeting, we felt that, okay, yes, we have done well in Lagos. Can we move to Abuja this morning? And I told you what happened in Abuja. Of course, some of us, okay, let's hold on, Lagos. Okay, let's some other people, go to Abuja. But I tell you today, I was not sure when I heard at 5 a.m. they're already here, because at the Abiola Stadium today, this morning, the protest couldn't hold. They were already tear-gassing everything. I have the video on my phone here. Women couldn't even come into that stadium in the first place. And what does that tell us? That if we continue to fold our hands, if we continue to keep quiet, these our leaders, they are shameless. They are evil. They don't even have our interests at heart. Then, like what we used to say, that power belongs to the people. The power still belongs to the people. We need to tell them, we need to show them that power belongs to us. Because, for as far as I am concerned, like the last speaker said, when they were ruling, when nobody is talking, when people were trying to cope with the situations, there were no meetings. But suddenly when you hear that...